Wisdom, the final frontier to true knowledge. Welcome to Wisdom Trek, where our mission is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. Hello, my friend. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your captain on our journey to increase wisdom and create a living legacy. Thank you for joining us today as we explore wisdom on our second millennium of podcast. This is day 1026 of our trek, and it is Wisdom Wednesday. Creating a biblical worldview is important in order to have a proper perspective of today's current events. To establish a biblical worldview, it is required that we also have a proper understanding of God's Word. Especially in our Western cultures, we do not fully understand the Scriptures from the mindset and the culture of the authors. In order to help us all to have a better understanding of some of the more obscure passages in God's Word, we are investing Wisdom Wednesday reviewing a series of essays from one of today's most prominent Hebrew scholars, Dr. Micheal S. Heiser. He has compiled these essays into a book titled, I Dare You Not to Bore Me with the Bible. The culture in which the Bible was written was primarily patriarchal, meaning that it was written by and from the perspective that males controlled much of the narrative of the world. While it has changed some in recent decades, this is still not uncommon. But a careful reading of God's Word will expose many women who had a dramatic impact on the world. During Jesus' ministry on earth, women played a very vital role. The building of God's kingdom today is also greatly impacted by women. There are many examples, but for today's essay we will explore a female apostle. Paul's final greeting to the Roman church seemed very typical. We might just skim over the list of names without a second thought. But one of the names within the list has become a focus of controversy and heated debate, which is located in Romans chapter 16, verse 7. Greet Andronicus and Junia, my fellow Jews, who were in prison with me. They are highly respected among the apostles and became followers of Christ before I did. Junia, or could be translated Julia, is most likely a name of a woman. When you read this phrase, among the apostles, you understand how a simple salutation has become proof text in a debate over the role of women in ministry. The evidence that Junia is a woman is very compelling. The Greek spelling, Ionia, could point to either a man or a woman. However, the addition of an accent mark would specify the gender, depending on which mark was chosen. Greek has several of these accent marks, and it depends on what syllable the accent mark is placed. The earliest manuscripts of the New Testament were written in uppercase Greek script, called unicao, and this did not include accent marks. But copies of the Greek New Testament from later period also use cursive script, which is referred to as minusculi, accent the name as female. In ancient Greek literature, outside the New Testament, the masculine form of this name has only surfaced once. Ancient Latin texts have also been searched, with some theorizing that Junia might be a shortened form of the male Junianus. Of the 250 or more citations of the name Junia, where a shortening the name is possible, all have referred to women. The phrase, among the apostles, can also be translated to the apostles, placing Junia within or outside the ministry category. Either translation is possible within the scope of the Greek grammar. External examples, though, favor the female option. However, there are other issues that are rarely raised in this debate. New Testament apostles, for instance, are not all described on equal terms. The original 12 disciples, along with the Apostle Paul, were considered a special group. They were first-hand pupils of Christ, some of whom God endowed with supernatural spiritual gifts, such as listed in Acts chapter 5, verse 12, and also divine revelation in the form of the New Testament. Not all the apostles had such gifts, however. Aside from the 12 disciples and Paul, it is not clear that the term apostle spoke of high authority or even expectations of the role. The Greek word apostolos simply means messenger or sent one, someone who was sent out for a specific task, similar to the concept of a missionary. Although the apostle Barnabas did preach and teach, as listed in Acts chapter 15, verse 35, Epaphroditus is not described in such terms. Apostles were also sent out to represent churches, but we are not told in what capacity, 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 23. Paul did not appoint apostles to the local church leadership. As paying attention to the details of the Bible matters, things can get complicated, but they are certainly interesting. And we also learn from this example that women played a very strategic role in the early church. And that'll conclude our essay for this week. Next Wisdom Wednesday, we will continue with the New Testament as we look at Dr. Heiser's next essay titled, Signed, Sealed, and Delivered to Satan. I believe that you'll find this another interesting topic to consider as we build our biblical worldview. Tomorrow we will continue with our 3-minute humor nugget that will provide you with a bit of cheer, which will help you to lighten up and live that rich and satisfying life. So encourage your friends and family to join us, and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 1,025 treks or read the Wisdom Journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. And I encourage you to subscribe to Wisdom Trek on your favorite podcast player so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, let to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. It is your choice. See you tomorrow.